Central banks may stoke risks by raising interest rates together. The Wall Street Journal. The most widespread rate increases on record have some economists worrying a lack of coordination may result in unnecessary economic harm. Central banks around the world are raising their key interest rates in the most widespread tightening of monetary policy on record. Some economists fear they may go too far if they don't take into a +462 chars. Meghan Markle was narcissistic sociopath who wanted to be rejected by royals. Former aides say. The Daily Beast. Plus, Harry is reportedly looking to make urgent edits to his memoir in the wake of the Queen's death. And Harry and Meghan still don't know if Archie and Lilibet will become HRH. Welcome to this week's edition of Royalist, the Daily Beast's newsletter for all things royal and royal family. Subscribe here to get it in your inbox every Sunday. Meghan, the narcissistic sociopath. +13420 chars. Philippines on high alert as explosive super typhoon Noru makes landfall. The Washington Post. The typhoon is forecast to bring large waves, torrential rains and wind gusts of up to 127 miles per hour to the northern Philippine island of Luzon. Emergency officials in the Philippines were on high alert Sunday as a rapidly intensifying tropical storm known as Super Typhoon Noru made landfall off the eastern shore of the capital, Manila, and +4245 chars. Were your teen years exhausting? School schedules may be why. Ars Technica. A new book traces how historical accidents left us pitting education against biology. 38 with 29 posters participating. If you went to high school in the U.S., you may recall early morning extracurriculars, sleeping through first-period algebra, or bleary-eyed late-night study sessions. +4467 chars. SpaceX satellite launch live. SpaceX launches its Starlink internet satellites. English News Live. CNN News 18. SpaceX satellite launch live. SpaceX launched another 52 of its Starlink internet satellites. English News Live. SpaceX launched another 52 of its Starlink. Null. New England Patriots Wr. Jacoby Myers not expected to play versus Baltimore Ravens. Source says. ESPN. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who leads the Patriots with 13 receptions for 150 yards, is not expected to play Sunday against the Ravens. A source told ESPN. Foxborough, Mass. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who leads the New England Patriots with 13 receptions for 150 yards, is not expected to play in Sunday's home opener against the Baltimore Ravens. A +803 chars. Apple CEO Tim Cook praises 9-year-old Indian girl who developed an iOS app, NDTV. The 9-year-old girl based in Dubai has got a mail from Apple CEO Tim Cook. Tim Cook personally complimented her in an email. Apple CEO Tim Cook complimented a 9-year-old Indian girl living in Dubai for designing an iOS app for iPhones. The girl, Hannah Mohammed Rafiq, had I +1807 chars. Gold. Should investors hold it in a bear market? Experts weigh in. Yahoo Finance. The shiny metal often labeled a hedge against inflation and commonly known as a safe haven, is looking dull. The shiny metal often labeled a hedge against inflation and commonly known as a safe haven, is looking dull. Gold, GC equals F, is 23% off from its peak in March, and 10% down year to date. In our series, plus 3287 chars. Pink Floyd founder cancels Poland concerts after Ukraine war remarks. Euronews. Roger Waters has reportedly cancelled concerts in Poland next year amid outrage over his stance on Russia's war against Ukraine and calls for him to be declared persona non grata in the Eastern European country. Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters has cancelled concerts planned in Poland amid outrage over his stance on Russia's war against Ukraine. Polish media reported Saturday. An official with the Tauron plus 1830 chars. Italy election. Voters poised to elect Maloney. Far-right Fratelli d'Italia. The Washington Post. Voters are expected to elevate Giorgia Meloni and her Fratelli d'Italia party, part of a coalition that would be the farthest right government since the fall of Mussolini. Rome, Italy is poised on Sunday for a norm-breaking election that's expected to give the country its first ever female prime minister and its farthest right government since the fall of Mussolini. The plus 7481 chars. COVID-19 linked with substantial increase in type 1 diabetes in children, as much as 72%. SciTech Daily. According to a new research study that analyzed electronic health records of more than 1 million patients ages 18 and younger, children who were infected with COVID-19 show a substantially higher risk of developing type 1 diabetes. T1D. Researchers at the CA. By Case Western Reserve University September 25, 2022. According to a new study, children who had COVID-19 are at a substantially higher risk of developing type 1 diabetes. According to a new research. Plus 5692 chars. NASA testing planetary defense by crashing spacecraft into an asteroid. The Washington Post. If everything goes as planned, and the laws of gravity and motion don't change at the last minute, the asteroid collision will happen at exactly 7 hours 14 minutes and 23 seconds Eastern Standard Time. Heart rates are spiking in the Washington suburbs, where scientists and engineers on Monday evening hope to witness a vending machine-sized spacecraft that is 7 million miles from Earth crash into an plus 5783 chars. NFL Sunday Primer. Brady Rodgers. Bills Dolphins. Ravens Pats headline Week 3. The Washington Post. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers will renew acquaintances this afternoon in Tampa. Fla. Tua Tagovailoa and Lamar Jackson staged an entertaining quarterbacking duel last week in Baltimore, as Tagovailoa's Miami Dolphins rallied from a 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter to beat Jackson. Plus 3126 chars. No Man's Skies 4.0 update will be fully focused on the Nintendo Switch launch, Nintendo Life, and delivering that technical miracle. Image. Hello Games. One of the many titles coming to the Nintendo Switch next month is the ambitious space epic No Man's Sky. The release of the game lines up with the 4.0 update. And if you're wand, plus 1624 chars. Why bosses should ask employees to do less, not more. The Wall Street Journal. Too many leaders think the key to success is to pile on staff. Technology, meetings, training, rules and more. The opposite is true. Null. Alec Baldwin Hilaria Baldwin welcomes seventh child together. Our tiny dream come true. Fox News. Alec Baldwin, 64, and his wife Hilaria Baldwin, 38, welcomed their seventh child together. The baby girl, Hilaria Catalina Irina, was born on September 22, 2022 and joins the couple's 6 other children. Alec Baldwin and his wife Hilaria Baldwin have welcomed their 7th child together, a baby girl named Hilaria Catalina Irina. The name seemingly derives from the baby's mother, who was originally Bo. +2450 Chars. Russian anti-war protests highlight trouble for Putin's war in Ukraine. USA Today. Massive anti-war protests are a sign President Vladimir Putin has failed to rally the Russian people behind his war in Ukraine. Analysts say, Olga Zedgun couldn't stay silent. Zedgun, a 45-year-old film director, marched through the streets of Moscow with other anti-war protesters Wednesday night, just hours after Russian President Vladimir +8218 Chars. Woman left in excruciating pain and half-blind due to dirty makeup bag. Metro.co.uk. Laura had developed an extremely painful corneal ulcer after storing her contact lenses in her makeup bag. Laura Hawkins awoke one morning unable to open her right eye. Picture. SWNS. Laura Hawkins, 24, woke up one day while traveling across Australia in excruciating pain. She was unable to open her +6155 Chars. Innovative MIT passive cooling system works without electricity. SciTech Daily. Relying on evaporation and radiation, but not electricity, the MIT passive cooling system could keep food fresh longer or supplement air conditioning in buildings. The use of power-hungry air conditioning systems is projected to increase significantly as Th. By David L. Chandler, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, September 24, 2022. 2 samples of passive cooling devices were tested on the roof of MIT's Building 1, on the left. A sample of the new Sister +9792 Chars. Court filing suggests Brett Favre pushed for federal funds despite legality concerns. NBC Sports. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre's best defense to any accusation that he tried to use federal welfare funds for his own personal project comes from his position that he didn't know anything about the source of the money. That defense possibly is implausible. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre's best defense to any accusation that he tried to use federal welfare funds for his own personal project comes from his position that he didn't know anything. ABO +1281 Chars. Anime-style 3D 2D shoot 'em up Angelian trigger locks in a Switch release. Nintendo Life. Take note. Space Harrier fans. Image. Pixel. The Nintendo Switch is already home to a lot of retro and modern shoot 'em up games. And if you're hungry for more, you'll want to be on the lookout for Angelian Trigger. Arriving on T +789 Chars. Intel is the Dow's biggest loser. CNN. Semiconductors are in everything. Our phones, our laptops, our televisions, even our cars. But concerns about a global recession and continued worries about supply shortages stemming from lingering pandemic-related shutdowns in Asia over the past 2 years are. A version of this story first appeared in CNN Business before the Bell newsletter. Not a subscriber? You can sign up right here. Semiconductors are in everything. Our phones, our laptops, our televi. Plus 5633 Chars. Family betrayals. WWE Top 10. Sept. 25. 2022 WWE. Watch these heartbreaking betrayals between family members. Featuring the Guerreros, the Mysterios, The Undertaker and Kane and more. Stream WWE on Peacock HT. Null. North Korea fires ballistic missile ahead of US VP Harris visit, Reuters. North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea off its east coast on Sunday, ahead of planned military drills by South Korean and U.S. forces involving an aircraft carrier and a visit to the region by U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. Seoul, September 25. Reuters. North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea off its east coast on Sunday, ahead of planned military drills by South Korean and U.S. forces involving an aircraft C. Plus 4888 Chars. FDA vaccine advisor says healthy young people shouldn't get another COVID booster. Daily Mail. Dr. Paul Offit, a member of the FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee, said he's not fully sold that the benefits of a third shot outweigh the harm, and the booster has only been tested on lab mice. A top vaccine expert and pediatric doctor is cautioning parents of healthy young people to hold off getting the new COVID booster shot, saying it can carry risks and its efficacy hasn't yet been proved. Plus 4683 Chars. NASA delays Artemis 1 moon rocket launch again as tropical storm Ian looms. The Guardian. Third delay in the past month for test flight as technical issues and weather hamper U.S. effort to return to the Moon after 5 decades. NASA third delay in the past month for test flight as technical issues and weather hamper U.S. effort to return to the Moon after 5 decades. Sunday, 25 September 2022, 2:40 British Summer Time. NASA is skipping Tuesday's launch. Plus 2327 Chars. 2022 NFL Week 3 picks. Bills blow out Dolphins. Bengals and Texans pick up first wins. CBS Sports. All of Will Brinson's picks and best bets for Week 3 of the 2022 NFL season. 2 weeks into the season we still don't know anything. Well, I take that back. I know my record against the spread currently isn't acceptable. We're going to work on that starting in Week 3. Which? Plus 10550 Chars. Takashi Miike directs anime of Onimusha game series. Anime News Network. Anime from Sublimation to use late actor Toshiro Mifune as model for Miyamoto Musashi. Null.